Welcome to Ask the Lawyer radio podcast with attorney Brian Figueroa of the law firm Figueroa and Associates. This podcast features a recording of our most recent radio show. We hope you enjoy the show, which features news, views, and interviews on matters such as immigration, personal injury, bankruptcy, divorce, family law, estate planning, wills and probate, deed transfers, civil rights, criminal defense, workers' compensation, and taxes, both individual and business. You can contact us at 855-768-8845 or visit us at www.askthelawyer.us. You have questions? We've got the answers.
Yes, this is Ask the Lawyer. You have questions? We've got the answers. Whatever your legal issues or concerns, call us right now. The number to call, the number to share, and the number to keep is 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. Or you can visit us at www.askthelawyer.us. That's www.askthelawyer.us. And right now, we're going to be talking about common issues that Mr. Figueroa experiences during immigration consultations. Mr. Figueroa is widely regarded as New York's #1 immigration attorney. He has over 25 years, that's a quarter of a century experience, practicing immigration law, and he sees some common underlying factors when persons come in for immigration consultations, and he's going to discuss that right now. Mr. Figueroa?
Yes, Ms. Phillip, it's great to be here in the studio with you. As you said, there are a lot of common issues that immigrants feel when they immigrate to the United States of America. Currently, we have a lot of people coming across the border from the Caribbean, Africa, Latin America. People are fleeing their own homelands because of economic issues, political issues, and those issues obviously are continuous. It's not just now. This issue has been an issue of the past. So 25, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, we had a lot of people leaving Western Europe, coming to the United States, seeking asylum, seeking a new living in America. Now, most of those people may come from China, they may come from the Caribbean, Africa, Latin America. So the immigration crisis, quote unquote, the crisis is really how do we treat immigrants in the U.S. that are no longer white Western Europeans, but other peoples. America, it is projected by the year 2050, the minorities will make up the majorities. Latinos will be the #1 minority, followed by Asians, followed by African Americans, people, black people, making up almost 51 to 52% of the U.S. population. The other issue that we face where asylum issues, immigration issues is concerned is the fact that when people come here, they may not have a legitimate claim for asylum, one. Two, there's a backlog in the system, which means that it takes too long for people who come here seeking asylum to receive a work permit and a Social Security card. And if that was done as expeditiously as possible, and if those trials, those hearings were done expeditiously, it means that obviously these people could either integrate quickly or those who don't qualify for political asylum will be ordered deported. For those people who come here legally, and what you mean is they have a visa. So before Venezuelans were coming across the border, many Venezuelans, for example, were coming here on their visitor's visa. the B1, B2 visas, and they would apply for political asylum, they would apply for TPS, temporary protected status, and that kind of alleviated the problem. But those were people who obviously had resources from their home country and were not required to actually take that long walk over the Americas to come to the U.S. Some of those people have relatives here already that will integrate them into their household because families were torn apart. Others were not. They were first-time, applicants. There are many nonprofit organizations here in New York City and all over the U.S. that work with people seeking political asylum. But again, as I said, getting that work permit and social is the big issue. The Biden administration with the Trump to-be administration never really addressed these issues because it was a big political issue in Congress, so there was no political consensus, and still there isn't. So not only do we have a crisis at the border, we have a crisis in government. But the bigger problem is the crisis in government, and hopefully the presidential elections in 2024 here in the U.S. will resolve those issues. Other immigration issues that we have is very basic. When you come to the U.S. Legally and you remain here beyond the time that you were given, so when you come here, for example, on a visitor's visa, they normally give you 6 months, 3 to 6 months. If you overstay that time by a day, your visa is canceled, yes, by law. If you overstay by 6 months and you leave the U.S. and try to return, you'll be subject to a 3-year bar. If you come to the U.S. and you overstay by 1 year and you leave the U.S. and try to return, you're going to be subject to a 10-year bar. So most people, when they understand that legal entry is no longer valid, obviously, after a day overstaying, they try to obviously move from one status to another. Within a year, if they needed political asylum, you have to file within a year of your entry in the U.S. for political asylum. After that, obviously, you're not eligible to file for political asylum if you came legally and didn't do it within a year of entering the U.S. For those who don't take that part or qualify for TPS from the various countries, that there are TPS programs, and hopefully those deadlines will not pass, then the only path to legalization is through the immediate relative category. That is, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and your spouse is petitioning for you, if you're under 21 and your parents, U.S. citizens, are petitioning for you, or if you're a child petitioning for a parent. As long as you came to the U.S. legally in any of these categories, i.e. not across the border, then the immediate relative category is available to you. Ms. Phillip?
Yes, Mr. Figueroa. And what about persons who come here to the U.S., they legalize and they have, family back home, and they don't take the necessary steps or as soon as they're able to get their kids to come to America to live with them?
Right, so basically, and those are extended family, not immediate relatives. Those are brother-sister petitions or petitions for children that may be married, petition for parents that are overseas, which is the immediate relative category, but the parents may not be in the U.S. And then they have the issue of, people who have children, someone petitioned for them, a family member, and their children age out, meaning they are past 21 and they no longer qualify to get that green card from the original petition. In those situations, obviously, understanding the various deadlines, and you get that through the Visa Bulletin Board with USCIS, It tells you the various categories in terms of how long it will take. And obviously, a family member petitioning for you doesn't mean that you start selling your home or getting ready to leave the country that you live in, because there are backlogs in those areas also. So, for example, brother-sister petitions, most countries it takes about 12 years. If you're from China, if you're from the Philippines, it's 25 years. Yes, brother-sister petitions, 25 years or 12 years. But it depends on where in the world you live. Why? Because quotas are allocated to different countries. So the whole process of understanding priority dates, understanding how long these petitions take, a learned counsel need to be guiding their clients as to what their families can and cannot do in terms of those petitions that have been done for them. Ms. Phillip?
Thank you so much, Mr. Figueroa. Remember, this is Ask the Lawyer. You have questions, we've got the answers. The number to call, the number to share, and the number to keep is 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. Or you can visit us at www.askthelawyer.us. That's www.askthelawyer.us.
Do you have a legal issue, question, or concern? Turn to Ask the Lawyer. You have questions, we've got answers. For a consultation or to refer a client, visit www.askthelawyer.us. Again, www.askthelawyer.us. You can also register for our paralegal program, get legal news, business consults, or other information on educational issues. Yes, Ask the Lawyer. You have questions, we've got answers. For a consultation or to refer a client, visit www.askthelawyer.us. Again, www.askthelawyer.us.